All right. Welcome, Megan, to the Be the One podcast. We're so glad you're here.
I'm happy to be here.
I know it's a busy week for you, so I'm glad that we were able to find time to do this week. And we'll hear more about this week in a minute. But before we get started, you are the director of our servant leadership and the Blanchard Leadership Institute.
Yes.
So I want to hear a little bit about who you are and your family and how you came to these roles.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for having me today.
You're welcome.
Brookstone has been a huge part of my life for a number of years. I grew up in Columbus and attended the same school from kindergarten through ninth grade and then transferred to Brookstone my 10th grade year.
Okay.
So I'm a graduate of Brookstone, and I'm so glad that I had the opportunity to experience this wonderful place as a student.
Yes.
I went on to Vanderbilt University and earned my degree there. I have a double major in art history and human and organizational development. And then later earned my master's degree from Columbus State University in organizational leadership with a focus on servant leadership.
That's awesome.
I'm married to Dykes Blackmon, who's also an alum from class of 91.
Yes, from my class.
Yes.
And what year? Yes, so he graduated with me.
Yes, 1991. We have 3 children. Our oldest is a Brookstone alum now. She graduated with the class of 2023. She's a freshman at Furman University. Bright.
Sweet girl.
Love
her.
Thank you. Me too. Miss her.
I know.
Our son Bo is a junior here, and our youngest Luli is in 5th grade.
Wow.
So we love being a part of the Brookstone family, and it's been so great to see it from different vantage points as student, employee, parent.
All the different
That's right.
perspectives.
That's right. So I have worked at Brookstone since 2008 with servant leadership, with the exception of 1 year when our family of 5 took an RV trip across the country.
Which is just so cool.
It was amazing.
It was just so much
It
fun.
was amazing. No regrets, but we are glad to be back settled in Columbus again. So since then, I have worked with servant leadership and then more recently, Blanchard Leadership Institute. But it's wonderful.
And we're going to have another podcast about that. Oh, no, that's good. We're coming up, so we'll have to have everybody tune back in to hear more about Blanchard Leadership.
Okay.
But so tell us a little bit about the history of servant leadership here at Brookstone, when it got started, the heart behind it, those types of things.
Absolutely. So servant leadership was formally established at Brookstone in 2006.
Okay.
It was the vision of Bill Turner, who is just a champion in our community. He was such a wonderful man, and his legacy lives on here at Brookstone. But he had the vision of creating a culture of servant leadership for all of our students. And so it's just an honor to be able to carry out that vision and have all of our students and faculty and families be involved with servant leadership.
Y'all just do such an amazing job. And I love the concept of just a culture of servant leadership and how it really permeates all throughout.
Absolutely.
Into all areas.
Absolutely. Over the years, it has grown and expanded. And now even our 3K students are learning about growing their servants' hearts. I have the privilege to work with Leanne Floyd and Dee Dee Gordon, and they focus on our youngest students and do such a great job helping them just understand the idea of helping others and that their words and actions and everything they do makes a difference. And that just begins at the young age and carries through to our seniors in high school. Just helping, we like to say, we're helping our students live out the attitude of serving others while developing as leaders. And that we believe that the best form of leadership is servant leadership when you are focusing on other people and how you can make a difference.
Oh, wholeheartedly. I wholeheartedly agree. And a lot of schools have a certain number of service hours that you have to earn, but speak to how we're a little bit different in that.
Yes, I actually love that. So Brookstone does not have a formal service hour requirement associated with graduation, yet all of our students participate in service. So we have days of service, weeks of service, family days of service, after-school opportunities, weekend opportunities. So there are multiple ways that students can be connected to our community, which I love. I remember a student coming back to me after having volunteered on the weekend, and he said, "Mrs. Blackmon, this was unbelievable. I went to this organization, and at the end, they said, 'Okay, let me sign your paper for service hours.'" And he said, "Oh, no, ma'am, I don't have a paper to be signed. I'm just here because I want to be here." And he said, the organization couldn't believe that I wasn't here just to check a box and do something, but that I had a genuine desire to be here. And so I love that. I think because we're able to start with our youngest students and just help them establish that habit that serving others really becomes second nature to them. And it's just really kind of who we are and what we do around here. It's not just to check a box and say, I've completed X number of hours.
Exactly. I mean, we want them to just leave here and continue to give back.
Exactly.
I mean, that's just who we want to present as a graduate when you talk about the portrait of our graduates.
Right, absolutely. So, yes, we know that education involves more than preparing people just academically, but we want them to be engaged and active citizens. Even though we don't have that formal requirement, we offer the option for students to log their hours just to help them keep up with their hours. And last year, our upper school students alone logged over 12,000 hours.
Oh, my goodness.
Which equates to an economic impact of over $311,000.
Oh, my goodness.
Which is
Meghan,
great.
That is awesome.
It really is exciting. Our Servant Leadership Prefect Committee last year had set a goal of 10,000 hours, which because the year before it was, I think, 7,000 hours logged. And so last year our students just really went above and beyond with that. But also the fact that, again, it's not required. They're doing it just because they have the heart for it and they want to help and make a difference. So,
exactly. That is awesome.
It's great. It's great. We do also offer our students the opportunity to be recognized through the President's Volunteer Service Award. So again, that's optional, but if they have acquired a certain number of hours, they are eligible for that. And last year we had 58 students from second grade through 12th grade that qualified to earn that recognition, which is really great.
That's amazing. Well, kudos to you and for the opportunities you provide for our students. That's just amazing. That's awesome. Yes. Well, I know last week we had our service fair here, and it was so much fun seeing all these local organizations to the opportunity to meet our upper school students. So how many organizations do we partner with as a school?
That's a great question. So last week on campus for our service fair, we had 19 organizations. We have more partners than that, just some weren't able to make it. But I would say there are at least 30 partners across the community that we regularly engage with. I think one great thing about our partners is that they know that we are in it with them for the long haul. These aren't just kind of one and done projects, but really partnerships instead, and that we traditionally connect with them at different points throughout the year. But for example, with our preschool and lower school week of service, 3K connects with PAWS and 4K connects with our military. Kindergarten focuses on our elderly and our neighbors at Brookside Glen. First grade has a focus on homelessness, and this year they went to Valley Rescue Mission Women and Children's Center, which was wonderful. Our second graders focus on those who have differing abilities, and they partner with Easter Seals. And our third grade connects with families who may be dealing with an illness, and they help the Family House of West Georgia, which was formerly Ronald McDonald House. So even just until third grade, if you've been here the whole time, you've had experiences with a wide variety of audiences and organizations, and then that just continues through the upper grades as well. I think it's great that the students are able to connect those things that they're doing in the classroom and learning about in a real way with our community partners, and especially as our students get older and kind of develop more passion projects and things that interest them, they are finding ways to connect what they love doing to the community and how they can go beyond themselves and help other people.
That is just fantastic.
That's great.
So this week of service has been this week.
Yes. So this is our lower school week of service.
So you have been busy.
Yes, it's been great. Leanne, Floyd, and Dee Dee Gordon have done such a great job helping to prepare our students. They meet with our students regularly and talk about growing their servants' hearts and help them learn a little bit about each organization before we visit or take part in the service project that we're doing with them. So it's been wonderful. In October, we will have our preschool week of service, our intermediate school week of service, and then our middle school day of service will take place at the end of the month, which is our annual tradition of having Fox Fun Day, where all of the Fox Elementary students come to our campus for a morning of fun and fellowship.
I just love that. It is one of my favorite days to see all that interaction on campus. So
it's a lot of fun. And we have a lot of after school opportunities and weekend opportunities that are kicking off for our upper school students, and their day of service will be in the spring.
Yes. And then you've got the family days of service.
That's right. Yes.
So how often do those come around?
We typically, have a family day of service around the holidays. So for a number of years, we have been partnered with Valley Rescue Mission Women and Children's Center, and we will go there. This year, I believe it's December 2nd. So it's that first Saturday, and we go in the morning and help decorate the Women and Children's Center for Christmas. We get to interact with the guests who are staying there, and so it's a great morning of fun. And then usually we try to have a spring family day of service. Sometimes that's on campus doing something that may focus on the environment. So stay tuned for details about our spring day.
And so you have a prefect committee that works with you. And so tell me a little bit about their role and what those students do for you.
Absolutely. So this year I'm able to work with Nate Hillsman and Bray Manderson. They are our
love them.
Yes, they are our servant leadership prefect and deputy prefect. And so their job is really just helping to encourage student involvement across all grade levels, helping them stay aware of opportunities. For service. They send out emails and reminders, announcements, things like that, and just come up with different ways that our students can make a difference in the community.
Yes. Well, you know, that's one thing I love, because I love this community. I mean, you grew up here. I grew up here. I love Columbus, and to be able to give back to this community and to teach our kids, like, we want to make this place as the best it can be, and to serve those that are around us. I love it. I love it. So going back to Mr. Turner's vision, I mean, how would you even quantify his impact on our school, on our community?
Right. I think it's really impossible to think about, Brookstone, or really the city of Columbus, without in some way recognizing Mr. Turner and his contribution. I think just the way that he lived his life and the example that he set for us has just been tremendous. And like I said, it's such an honor to be able to continue his legacy. I remember when we would have the opportunity to visit with Mr. Turner, he would often share one of his favorite stories called the Tinkerbell story. And it's his view of servant leadership. He was sharing about a time in his work when they would pass out Halloween candy to children. And one year, the enrollment of the children that were participating in this program had changed, but the amount of candy that they bought had not. And so the children were coming down ready to get their candy. He noticed his bucket was slowly starting to dwindle, and he didn't have enough. And he said there was a little girl, dressed up as Tinkerbell, who could kind of see what was happening. And she was young. He described her as 4 or 5 at the time, and recognized that he didn't have enough candy to make it. She looked behind and saw that there were still a lot of children. And so she looked up at him and just took her entire bucket and dumped it in his. Gosh. And he said...
That makes me like teary.
I know. He just said, I feel like that is such a pure illustration of servant leadership there, that she saw a need, she was able to do something about it, and then she did it. She acted upon it. And so we've been able to share that story throughout the years with our students here to just help them understand that, you know, they have eyes to see and ears to hear, and they also have it within them to do something about it, to be able to make a difference. And so I just love that our students are able to do that. And I'm so thankful to him for his vision and wisdom and just his legacy.
That's awesome. So, okay, I'm actually crying.
Sorry. I know, it's such a sweet story.
It's what you hope as a parent. You hope you have imparted to your own children to do that. Even, you know, just give them the eyes to see and the ability to know they have what they need to step out and make a difference. So that's just beautiful. Yes. And actually, I have his book somewhere in here, Mr. Turner's.
Oh, good. Yes, I see it. Yes. The Learning of Love.
Yes. Because I don't want any of us to ever forget the impact he has had and the heart behind the servant leadership, that it's not just a program. It's not just a department.
Right.
Just, it is truly a culture and a lifestyle to live.
Yes.
And so, so thank you for everything you're doing.
Well, thank you.
Oh my goodness. And I'm like literally still going to wipe my tears.
No, you're sweet. Yes, I do. I love that it's not a class or a club or just for a few people, but it is truly for the whole school, for faculty, students, families, just everybody is engaged with servant leadership in some way. And I do think that it is a part of who we are and what we do. Exactly. And it's just, we do really have a culture of servant leadership here.
Exactly. Thank you. Yes, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. It is who we are. It is a part of our DNA as a school. Yes. So, okay. So, I know you shared a lot of stories already that have already made me even teary. But like, is there a story about a student and their involvement in a particular project or a passion that has stuck with you through the years?
Gosh, that's a great question, because there have been, I think, so many students who have come through and been able to transfer either the knowledge that they've learned or what they personally love to do. And it's so great to see when they can connect that in some way to help others. So I love seeing students kind of step beyond themselves and be a part of something bigger. I think some of my favorites are when we are volunteering with students and they look up and just say, "This is so much fun." And it's almost as if a light bulb is going off, where maybe before they thought, well, service is either hard work or it's not going to be any fun and I'm not going to enjoy doing it. And then all of a sudden when they realize, oh my goodness, I'm actually having a ball. I love that. I can think back to when we were hosting adults from Easter Seals, and our sophomores were serving as hosts and hostesses and buddies for them. And a student walked by pushing their buddy in a wheelchair and just said, "I'm having the best day of my life. I love this." I mean, it's just,
I love that.
You know, it's like that book, Have You Filled a Bucket Today? Yes. And just realizing that when you fill somebody else's bucket, you are also filling your own. And it just makes such a difference. Just this cycle of kindness.
Really. Right. Exactly. And in a culture that is almost in an exterior culture that is against that, it's just all about self and all about me. Right. And just to teach these kids and to show these kids, have them experience it themselves, just the gift of service and how really you think you're being a blessing to others when actually they are the blessing to you. Absolutely. And the gifts that you get from working with them and serving them. So I love that. So, you know, you've been doing this for a long time, but what's your vision? I mean, like if you could do anything, if it was just you had a little Tinkerbell magic wand yourself, you know, what do you see servant leadership becoming or doing?
Gosh, I always hope it will remain as central to the Brookstone experience as it is right now, and that our students will continue to pour themselves out for other people and connect those great things that they are doing in the classroom to the community, and just really always have that focus on how can I help, how can I make a difference, and that they would continue with that pattern and that habit well beyond their time at Brookstone, and just that it has become a part of who they are. Yes. So I think there's always opportunities to invite new partners to come alongside and allow our students to serve. So I'd just love to see us continue to grow and spread out in the community and make an impact.
I just can't get over the economic impact. I just cannot even get over that.
Really,
I mean,
amazing.
when you quantify it like that, it's just, I mean, it's really startling. And so, way to go.
That's right. Thank you. And especially because that's just our upper school. That doesn't really even take into account all of the other things that our students are doing just through the school year, through the day-to-day after-school service opportunities or different things. Exactly. So it's probably actually much higher than that.
That's amazing.
Which is great.
That really is. Well, that's exciting. Okay. And so, like I said, you know, leadership, you're over all the Brookstone leadership right now, but I want to have you back to talk further about the Blanchard leadership and how that ties into servant leadership and how those beautifully marry. But before we even get there, next episode, I love to ask all my guests the books that have meant so much to them or have had an impact on them. And so I'd love to hear your favorite book or your favorite books.
Oh gosh,
that's a hard question.
Hard. That is a really hard question. I mean, if I'm allowed to say the Bible, that one would certainly have the most impact on me, of course, for obvious reasons. But as far as a fiction book, I've just read one recently by Mitch Albom, the man who wrote Tuesdays with Morrie. And yes, he has one out called The Stranger in the Lifeboat, which was really good and thought-provoking.
Wow,
so I enjoyed that one.
Okay, I'm going to put that on my list.
But I think a lot of other stories that have stuck with me are honestly children's books.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I think there's
love
so
that.
much wisdom found
Yes.
in children's stories.
Yes.
And just thinking back to my time here with servant leadership and being able to share some of these stories with our younger students. I mean, just there's a lot of wisdom in Dr. Seuss, even though he can be very silly. He has some pretty deep messages there.
It's so true.
The Giving Tree. We've talked about Have You Filled a Bucket today. So I think a lot of times just those simple messages can stick with you.
For sure. I know sometimes, reading to my daughter, again, I've just demonstrated that I cry easily, okay? But that I can get teary reading books with my girl, and she'll look at me and say, "Please stop crying." And I'm like, it's just so sweet. It's just
absolutely relate. I mean, commercials get me sometimes too. Like,
I know. I know.
I get it.
But I love that because it is true that so often as adults, we put aside the books that just have some really deep wisdom in them until you get the opportunity to read them again with your child or with your class. So I love that. Okay, so how about advice? Some of the best advice you've been given or just something that has stuck with you?
Yes. Gosh, that's really hard too because I feel like I've been fortunate to receive such wisdom from so many different people. I think, again, Bible verses mean a lot to me. Yes. You know that I love quotes, and I think so much wisdom can be summed up in a quote. So I love that. But I guess just thinking of the best advice is probably just the example that my parents lived out and just their integrity and focus on loving others well. And I think that has just stuck with me and just laid the foundation of character and good life and who I am.
Yes, so. and your whole life and your whole career of loving other people well. I think you personify that in every way.
Thank you very much.
So, well, we are just so grateful for you and the work you do and for Leanne and for Dee Dee and all those who have worked with you before. It is almost impossible to quantify what you guys have meant to this school and in the lives of our students.
It's a blessing.
And so thank you. Oh, I forgot one more thing before I let you go. Tell me about the Sharing Sunshine and the emails and all that. And then I'll link all that in the show notes. But before I let you go, share that.
Great. So our families can keep in touch with the Servant Leadership Department and all that we have going on. Let me change that.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Okay. Right. Yes. Just start wherever you want to.
Great. Our families can learn about different opportunities for service through our monthly emails that are sent, our servant leadership update emails. And in that document is a link to our Sharing Sunshine document that is regularly updated with opportunities for service. So it includes suggestions for families, but also opportunities as students get older where they can go out on the weekends or after school and take part. And so there's a link in that. And people are welcome to reach out if they have any questions or suggestions. If there are causes that are important to them and they think Brookstone needs to know about it and be connected, I invite anybody to send us a message and we'll see if there's a way that we can incorporate it somehow.
That's great. And I love the Sharing Sunshine. And I love your theme, Be the Sunshine. And I just, because it's just so true, be a shining light in this community. And I love the artwork that Evelyn let us use.
Yes. She was Evelyn Henson from the class of 2009, I believe.
I can't remember.
Was very kind to allow us to adopt her mural that's in Uptown Columbus that says Be the Sunshine. Yeah. She has allowed us to translate that into our servant leadership theme and just help our students to understand that they have the power to shine a light, especially in this world that oftentimes can seem very dark or unhappy, but that they can help and they truly can make a difference. And so we just want all our students to be the one who brings the sunshine.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for being here. You do bring the sunshine, and so just keep shining bright.
Thank you.
Thank you, Megan.